Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. You are not a priority to your Filipina if. So let's talk about some signs that maybe you should move on instead of trying to persistently give somebody a chance as if they're the only Filipina in the Philippines. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. I've got over 1,550 videos, many playlists. I've got a book you can get for about $5.50, about 550 pages, about my experience with finding a Filipino wife, getting married in less than 8 weeks, still being married 8 years later. Please leave comments. I'm going to read some things from hackspirit.com that I came across the other day, and I thought, we should talk about this with foreigners looking for somebody in the Philippines, because once in a while, even though I didn't have this trouble, I have heard men saying, I just can't get the woman to go on camera. It's so hard to find time to talk to her. At least the guy wants to make the effort, but she is inconsistent. How long should he wait? Well, let me know if you've had experience with this. There is a big time zone, depending on where you live. With us, it's 12, 13 hours, which actually works out pretty good. So let me list a few things they have here. A few signs to keep an eye on are they routinely choose other activities over spending time with you. So if you're contacting a woman overseas, it should be a very exciting time for her and a thrilling time for you too. So I would think if she said, sure, I'd love to get together and chat with you, go on camera, that she would prove that by actually doing that. Before I settled on my wife and we decided to just spend time only with each other, I talked to 3 or 4 others on camera, and I could have continued to talk to them on camera. Some of them were, 5 minutes late, maybe 15 minutes late. My wife was always on time, so that's definitely a good sign. But if they're doing other things like, well, I'm going to go out with my classmates, or, well, I'm going to go and do something with the family, then I would say they aren't all that interested in you, and maybe you need to keep looking. Or if they cancel plans at the last minute, if something that appeals to them more pops up. If you're set to go at 7 o'clock, or maybe in our case, it would be like 9 o'clock here, in the morning would be 10 p.m. over there, then she has to be respectful of your time as you have to be with hers. Has that ever happened to you where you look forward all day to talk to somebody and then, something else came up? That's always so frustrating. So if it happens when you're looking to connect with somebody thousands of miles away, probably you need to move on sooner rather than later. There's millions and millions of potential prospects in the Philippines who, hopefully a good number of them, are serious about a relationship and getting married. Here's another one. They make last minute plans and expect you to be available. Well, Bill, I know we weren't going to talk tonight, or we were going to talk later, but something came up, but I can talk right now, even though you might be at work, you might be at dinner, you might have other obligations. That's a sign that maybe you need to move on. Because of the time zones, you really do need to plan it out and just say, look, here's my availability this week. How about yours? And what are our best opportunities or windows of time to talk? And then you have to pick a time. And if they're interested and not just playing around, and the man too, they have to be there and they have to be on time and respect each other's schedules. Another thing they say here is if they show little interest in your schedule and commitments. Like if you say, well, I've got this job and I've got to go here and do that, but I can make time for an hour here or 2 hours there. If they never really remember your schedule, you have to keep repeating it. Well, I said I was going to do this, and I said I work until then, and they're not paying attention to it. All they have to do is write it down if it matters to them. And if they're not going to do that, it would be best to move on. Another one, their effort to engage with you fluctuates. They're attentive one moment, disengaged the next. They're talking to you right there, And then the next thing you know, they're kind of looking down or they're looking off to the side, and you're wondering, you know, can you maybe move to another room? Maybe they can't, but you need to find a way to have it be quiet enough and undistracted enough for you to have a good conversation, because I think if she's serious about finding a Westerner, she'll make it quiet. She'll tell everybody else to pipe down because she's doing something important. I don't think it's that hard to be able to pay attention. If she can't find one of those other millions of Filipinas out there. And one last thing, they say if you only spend time together on their terms, the Filipinas, for example, the relationship is, of course, one-sided, and your partner is putting their wants above your own. If a man is willing to go thousands of miles away to meet somebody he's been chatting with, in my case it was 9,800 flight miles added up on the itinerary, then I wouldn't go if I have to work so hard to get somebody on camera. My wife and I, most of the time, was on video cam. And of course, if you're running around at work or at break, something like that, you want to fill in with some chat messages, like on Messenger, text message type communication. That's okay. We probably spent, let's say 4 hours a day during the work week. A lot of people do that. A couple hours is good. Maybe even 1 hour a day is okay if you're not wasting time talking. I've got some videos on the playlist on YouTube about questions to ask a Filipina. 4 different videos help you break the ice and move things along in a good pace, from breaking the ice to even proposing to that person, and even after you've been married, so you keep learning about each other. So it should be an even thing where you do what you have to meet with her, she does what she has to meet with you. If she thinks this could be a life-changing type of relationship, it shouldn't be hard to get on camera. A lot of guys have told me if we could only do more video cams. Well, maybe her English isn't so good. Maybe she's just really shy. But what does she have to lose by keeping an appointment with you? Nothing. Her English and communication might be acceptable to you. If she's a little late, like 10 minutes or so, that might be acceptable to you. But you cannot get anything going if you're not going to be communicating. And it's best to be in person, of course, but until then, you must go on video camera so you can see how much attention they're paying you. Are they easily distracted, allowing themselves to be distracted? Look at their body language. Are they interested? So there's lots of fish in the sea over there. And don't wait too long and get hooked on somebody that really isn't interested in you, because sometimes guys can kind of think that, they just go too long instead of just moving on, cutting that one off. Use your instinct, your gut, your common sense, and decide right away if this person is going to be worth investing your time. If not, move on and keep trying to find love beyond the sea.